Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Code Man Movies Podcast. It's been another week, a week that I actually got to watch a few things, thank goodness. So it's going to be a nice, good episode today. Nothing too short, hopefully nothing too long, but a nice episode all the same. Now, as always, we need to have a drink while talking about movies this week. I am drinking the Clobberin' Cobbler from a brewery in Eau Claire that I love. It's called the Brewing Project, and it's a sour ale with milk, sugar, peach, blackberry, cinnamon, nutmeg, granola, and vanilla. And they make some amazing, interesting beers that don't even taste like beer. That's why I like them, because I don't necessarily love beer, but this is good stuff. You know what I'm saying? But without further ado, let's go on and talk about movies. Life updates. There's not much. I'm working too much. If you can tell from my eyeballs, I look like a zombie. If a child were to come up to me, they'd be all like, "Right, Reiki is a zombie," because I look like a walking zombie. True story. Very true story. Anyways, guys, let's talk movies. First, we're gonna start with this movie right here, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. It is a movie starring Nicolas Cage, playing Nick Cage. And I was really, really excited for this movie. And I'm so happy that another theater in town got it. The AMC I usually go to did not get it. It was really sad that they didn't get it. But a different theater in town did get it. So I got to go see this movie. And what an interesting, original movie this is. If the plot is that Nicolas Cage is basically becoming a nobody actor anymore, and he is asked to come to this birthday party in Spain, I believe, for $1 million, and he takes the opportunity to do so for $1 million, and the CIA gets involved because the guy that he's hanging out with this birthday weekend happens to be this drug guy that they think is this super dangerous man. And things go from there. This movie is wacky and crazy and ridiculous and over the top, just like Nicolas Cage is, and I really enjoyed this movie very much. There is so many amazing action sequences in this movie, so many interesting references to Nicolas Cage's line of work. His career, his body of work, in movies anyway. Just such an interesting movie. It's funny. It has a lot of heart, surprisingly. I did not expect this movie to have as much heart as it did, particularly between Nicolas Cage's character and Pedro Pascal's character. There's actually a lot of heart in this friendship that is made. This movie is just freaking fantastic. It really is. There are things that I didn't love about this movie, particularly when it comes to Tiffany Haddish's character and everything that's kind of involved with the FBI. I didn't really feel that it needed to be in the movie necessarily. It was just kind of there to be there almost. And I kind of just wanted this movie to be a Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal movie where they hang out, because that's just what was so great about this movie. The things that felt out of place in this movie, specifically with the FBI, felt like things that were just wanted because it was an action comedy movie, in the sense that there's some scenes in the movie that feel like they are just there to make it be an action movie, which the action is filmed fairly well. I enjoyed the action sequences quite a bit, but some of it just didn't feel like it needed to be there. This movie is hilarious. There's a particular scene where Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal's character get high on LSD, and it's freaking hilarious. It really is. It is such a funny movie. And for people to say there are no more original movies in Hollywood anymore, this is a prime example that there are plenty of original movies in Hollywood. We just need to, we need to go see these things. And I think this movie is doing fairly well. So it's good to see an original movie like this, doing it. I would love to, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard are going through this trial and stuff. I would love to see Johnny Depp have like a spin-off of this movie where Johnny Depp is playing a heightened version of Johnny Depp. Have him go through parts of his life or something. I think this could be a cool anthology series of movies because just over-the-top ridiculous actors playing versions of themselves. Nicolas Cage did such a great job with it, and it was hilarious. There was something like right on my foot, and that's annoying. It's my coaster. Anyways, Nicolas Cage is so good in this movie, and the movie itself is just fantastic. At the end of the day, though, I was just... It felt longer than it was because of this FBI side plot and such like that. Felt like it's literally talked about in the movie, actually. It's very meta in the sense that there's a time in the movie where Nicolas Cage is talking about how movies in Hollywood nowadays have to do certain things because that's what movies nowadays do, and they don't just rely on the one thing. They think they need to do all these things to bring everyone in. And that's something this movie kind of does in a sense, because it brings in all these action sequences with the FBI that I just didn't need. I think that some action sequences between just the friendship of Nick Cage and Pedro Pascal could have worked. And instead they had to put in all these extra things. So at the end of the day, this movie is not perfect, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a solid 8 out of 10 for me. Go to the theater and see this one. This is a good movie to watch with other people and just laugh with other people about. Because it is crazy and it is ridiculous, but it is so wonderful. And I thoroughly enjoyed myself with this movie. Next up, guys, we are going to talk about Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. This poster is fuzzy. That drives me nuts. But it is what it is. And I do want to check my watch to make sure this is actually still going, because I've had issues with this in the past, as we all know. Well, you may know. If you're new here, well, I've had issues with this crap. It's working, thank God. So Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. This is the second time that I've seen this movie, and it truly is. Again, we say there's no original movies anymore. This could not be any more original. This movie is insane. It is bonkers. It is hilarious. It has heart. It's violent. It's a truly terrific movie. I don't know what else to say about this movie, except that it's just bonkers. And the performances in this movie are absolutely fantastic. Michelle Yeoh is so good in this movie. I forget the girl's name who plays the daughter. She is absolutely fantastic too. She has to do a lot of different acting and different ranges of acting that she does in this movie. The man who plays her husband, I forget his name too. He's in Goonies. This is his first role since like Goonies and Indiana Jones. Beer. Gotta drink more beer, guys. But yeah, all the acting in this movie is just absolutely fantastic. And it's just such a fun, wild ride. And it's just a movie I don't even want to talk about because I just want people to experience this movie. And I really do mean that word, experience, because this is a movie that you do truly experience. Just everything about it. I have like nothing really that bad to say about it. What I said in the first time I saw it was the length. It felt a little long. And I'm still going to stand by that. It does feel a little long. It feels like there's a lot of these montages, which are great, but it felt like it could have been 5-10 minutes, maybe more than that, 10-15. It could have been a tight 2-hour movie. Instead, it's a 2-hour, 15-minute movie. So it could have been a little bit shorter, but other than that, this is truly a fantastic original movie. And this movie is going to stay in my top 10 for quite a while, because, I mean, it probably will be in my top 10 at the end of the year, period. If this movie gets taken out of my top 10, we've just truly had the most we've had an incredible year if that's what happens. The only other movie that's done that so far was Northman for me. Massive talent. I was hoping would be up there. It hasn't quite gotten in there for me, but it is still a damn good movie, but not one that I could consider top 10 worthy. But yeah, this is a phenomenal movie, and I don't want to say too much about it, but at the same time, I want to say a lot about it in the sense that it is such a fantastic, original, fun movie. And oh, I'm so sorry, very tired, as you can tell. Anyways, saw at the box office this weekend. This movie actually made more money than it did last weekend. It actually went up in percentage-wise as far as how much money is made, which never happens. And that's truly awesome for a strange, weird movie like this. And I'm glad that it's doing as well as it is. So that's Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like I said before, it's a 9 out of 10 for me. It's nearly perfect. It's just a little too long for my liking. Sorry, my posters are all out of order this week. Something with my computer. I need to get a new computer, and yeah, we don't need to talk about that, though. I've also talked about that before, but anyways, Moon Knight, guys. We now have 5 episodes of Moon Knight. Is this working? Yes, okay. We now have 5 episodes of Moon Knight. I still have no clue what's going on in this show, which is so interesting. And this last episode, we have 1 episode left. And I just don't know how they're going to nail it, because I don't really know fully what's going on with this thing. And so interesting. And again, I don't want to talk too much about the show until maybe next week. I think after tomorrow, when I watch the last episode, I will watch them again all together in the next upcoming week and talk about the show in full and spoilers. Because it is such an interesting, fascinating show. And it just needs to be talked about. It really, truly does. That's all I'm going to say for right now. Moon Knight, it is such an interesting ride. And I'm glad we're getting to experience it. But dang, is this show interesting. I'm curious to see how they're going to do how they're going to end this one. That's for sure. Full House, guys. I finally finished watching Full House. I think I started watching Full House back in February or March or something. No, it would have been before that. It would have been January. January is when I started watching Full House, when Bob Saget died. And I was talking season through season with this show, and I just kind of stopped because at the end of the day, there wasn't much more that I could say about it. Each season kind of was the same in the sense that it's just a nice show about family and a great show to watch with your kids, and life lessons and just life in general. The show had a lot of heart, and it was a good show. I can understand why this show was so big when it was throughout the 80s and 90s when it was on. And it really is a terrific show. I did not know that this show kind of just ended. They did the 8th season with kind of intentions of doing the 9th season, but just never did. I heard there was cast members that did not want to come back. And then also at this time was Friends and Seinfeld, and it was kind of the era of more of friends hanging out, not families hanging out. And that kind of just ended it. So the last episode of this show was Michelle losing her memory for a bit, for like 5 days or something like that. And then the end, she gets her memory back. And that's just kind of where the show ended. Steve was kind of out of this last season for the most part. And then he just kind of comes back, and DJ and Steve are dating again, which was kind of weird. So my biggest problem with this show by the end here was just that we didn't have conclusions to any of these characters, really, it felt like. Yeah, it was just kind of there. But at the end of the day, I did enjoy this show. It is such a good, heartwarming show. It is funny. All the characters are really quite wonderful. And, I think I see a bit of myself in every single one of the characters. And I think that's always a great thing when you watch a show and you can see yourself in everyone that is on screen. And I think that's really important with connecting to the audience. And it's important in just making you feel what the show wants you to feel. And I got that from the show. At the end of the day, the show disappointed me as far as the last season goes, but it was still a good show. Nothing amazing. Is this one of my favorite shows of all time? No. But it's a solid 8 out of 10 show, and I'm glad I've watched it all. And, I'm glad this... And before watching this show, I thought I'd seen quite a few episodes, and I really hadn't. I had maybe seen 10, 20 episodes, not even a full season's worth of episodes of this show. And I'm glad I've watched them all now. And I'm not going to say I'm a changed person or anything like that, but having watched this show, it just makes you think of life. And it makes you just want to connect things to these characters and what they've gone through in the show. And I think it's something that I'm going to do myself, if that makes any sense. That sounded cheesy as hell. I'm going to take another drink, and we're going to talk about the next thing. Anyways, guys, Full House for me, it was an 8 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed the show. Not one of the greatest shows of all time, but it truly was a heartwarming, beautiful show that I think families today should still watch. And it's a good thing that parents and children alike, or parents and children can like, and that's a good thing. Next up, guys, it is Doctor Strange week, Marvel week, however you want to call it. So I decided to rewatch some Doctor Strange stuff, I guess you could say, Doctor Strange movies. So I rewatched Doctor Strange from 2016. I remember going to see this movie in IMAX, and I was disappointed by this movie. I was very excited for it. I thought it was going to be awesome as hell. And I remember coming out of the theater going, it was good. Yeah. Didn't love this movie. I remember when I came out of the theater having seen it, I thought the visuals were fantastic. I thought Benedict Cumberbatch did great. I thought all the acting in the movie was great. Mads Mikkelsen, Benedict Wong, Rachel McAdams, Chiwetel Ejiofor, and Tilda Swinton. All of them were great. At the end of the day, though, this movie fell a little flat for me. The villain, played by Mads Mikkelsen, who is fantastic as a character. He's nice and creepy. I think it's one of the better lower tier Marvel villains, I guess you could say. I think he has just great screen presence. Really, is what I can say. Mads Mikkelsen really did a great job with it. At the end of the day, the character's just not given a whole heck of a lot to do, in a sense. He just wants to be evil to kind of be evil, and yeah. But when I saw this movie, I felt that Doctor Strange was just a little too arrogant, and he did feel a lot like Tony Stark, really. It felt literally just like Tony Stark's movie all over again. Iron Man all over again, except it's Doctor Strange. So yeah, at the end of the day, this is a movie, even, what is it now, 6 years later, I still enjoy this movie. It's just not as rewatchable of a movie as some of the other ones are. The movie has spectacular visuals, and I remember seeing this in 3D as well, and it was beautiful in 3D. But the movie itself is just not as great as I kind of hoped it would be. It was just kind of more paint by numbers. And there is some really cool, interesting things in this movie. Not all of it pays off, in my opinion, and it's still a good movie, though. I will also say this. This movie makes me not like Spider-Man No Way Home as much. Because Doctor Strange, for example, him opening up a portal, it is so difficult for him that they have to throw him on Mount Everest and nearly kill him so that he can learn to open a portal and use his magic. But Ned in Spider-Man No Way Home just kind of opens a portal because he wants to see Peter. And I just don't fully buy that. And I believe that wasn't actually going to be what actually happened. I think due to COVID and time and such like that, they just had to go with it. And it works enough, fine enough. But it's still just kind of disappointing that it was that did that with the portals. I didn't buy the fact that Ned just all of a sudden opens portals. It's a minor gripe. I still love Spider-Man No Way Home. I really do, but minor gripe. What else was I going to say? There was something else. Oh, this movie also makes me like Spider-Man No Way Home a little more in a sense. When Ned can't close the portals, there are moments in this movie where Doctor Strange can't get his portals closed. That made me feel better, but again, it didn't make any sense because Ned can just all of a sudden open the portals and then close the portals. I didn't love that part of No Way Home. And then just the fact that in No Way Home, when they're at the Statue of Liberty and Ned can't close the portal, they're just standing there going, okay, let's keep going. Let's keep trying. We're just going to keep trying. We're going to keep trying. There's 5 supervillains just outside that portal that could come kill us. We could, maybe take this box thing and maybe go hide somewhere else in this school so they can't find it or at least have a harder time finding it. But instead, they have to talk and make humor jokes, and then the lizard comes and gets him, and Zendaya nearly falls, and we get that awesome moment with Andrew Garfield and all that fun jazz. But my point being that there's just some things in No Way Home that this movie made me not like as much, but also made me like as much, so, that makes a lot of sense. Anyways, guys, we're talking about Doctor Strange. This is an enjoyable movie. It's more of my middle Marvel movies. I just don't love this one as much. It's just kind of bland. It's bland. But I love certain aspects of it. I love all the mirror dimension. I kind of like the ending with Dormammu. It's just different. And I love the use of time in this movie. And it's just truly a beautiful movie to look at. But at the end of the day, I just didn't think it was handled. I just think it was kind of a paint by numbers. Something I do really want to praise this movie for is its IMAX shots. And I think this is more of a director's choice. I could be wrong. So Scott Derrickson, bravo if this is your decision making. But a lot of times when you see a movie and parts of it were filmed in IMAX, it'll go the IMAX screen, down to the widescreen, IMAX wide, IMAX wide, IMAX wide, IMAX wide, all in like one scene. This movie beautifully just takes certain sequences and has them pretty much all in IMAX. And it doesn't go back and forth. It just takes that scene, lets that scene be a scene. And then when there's other, talky scenes that don't need to be in IMAX, it goes back to the widescreen aspect ratio. And I just really thought this movie did such a great job doing that. Whereas some other movies, particularly in the Marvel Universe, from what I've been watching on Disney Plus with the IMAX enhanced stuff, some movies just go poof, 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 and it's just kind of annoying. This movie did such a beautiful job of just handling the IMAX sequences and making them just beautiful sequences of the movie shot entirely in IMAX. At the end of the day, though, this movie is just kind of bland, kind of eh. I still enjoy it. I still have, maybe watched this movie 20 times or something like that since 2016. I'll give it like a 7 out of 10. It's just middle of the road for me when it comes to Marvel, but it's not a bad movie. It truly is a fantastic movie. So, yeah, one to see in the theater for sure, but not as good at home. Yeah. So let's continue. We're going to skip over because, again, my computer is being weird today. Excuse me. Whoa, sorry guys. So I rewatched Thor Ragnarok this week as well. I watched this one because I knew Doctor Strange was in it. The post-credit scenes in 2016's Doctor Strange were setting up 2017's Thor Ragnarok, and I forgot just how little he was in this movie. So at the end of the day, I really didn't need to watch this one leading up to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. But, you know, this is a fun movie. Taika Waititi directed it, and it's just a great movie to watch. I'll be watching this again, considering Thor comes out in July. So I'll be watching this in 2 more months anyway, but it is what it is. I watched it again, and it is truly just a fun movie. That's the best word I can say for this movie. It's fun. It's over the top. It's kind of ridiculous, but it is such a fun movie. Sequence with Doctor Strange that is in it is basically just to find their dad to move them from one place to another. And for Doctor Strange to be introduced to Thor, which have they been introduced since, really? I guess they probably saw each other at Tony Stark's funeral, and that's about it. But anyways, this movie is such a fun, enjoyable movie. I love everything they did with Thor and Loki and Valkyrie and Bruce Banner. Just fantastic things for their characters. At the end of the day, I didn't need to watch this movie leading up to Doctor Strange, but I kind of wanted to, especially since it really ties into Infinity War, which we'll talk about in a second. So yeah, I'm glad I watched this one again. We're going to talk more in depth about this one this summer when we're really talking about Thor, and Thor's movies comes out. So that's when I really want to talk about this one. As of now, this is just a really great, fun movie. Just such a good movie just to watch when you're having a bad day, because it is fun and funny and some beautiful IMAX sequences. Oh, excuse me. Some IMAX sequences in this movie as well. Not quite as good as Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange has the best IMAX sequences I've seen in a Marvel movie so far. Well, besides Infinity War and Endgame. But anyways, so yeah. Thor Ragnarok, really fun, enjoyable movie. I'm not going to talk too much about this one because I want to talk more about it when we are talking about all the other Thor movies leading up to Thor Love and Thunder. So yeah, this movie's like an 8 out of 10 for me. It really is such a fun, enjoyable movie. If I have negatives with this movie, it is just maybe some minor conveniences and just some things that happen that don't really fit in with Thor, I think. But again, I think better time to talk about this would be when we watch Thor in every movie that he's been in, and we can really talk about his character arc and such like that. So yeah, Thor Ragnarok, 8 out of 10. Really quite enjoyable movie. Next up, guys, I watched Avengers Infinity War. This is one I definitely wanted to watch. Doctor Strange has a bigger part in this one. This movie is truly just fantastic. Also, Scarlet Witch is in this movie. She has a big part, it seems like, in this new Doctor Strange movie. So that's why I also really wanted to watch this one. But yeah, Avengers Infinity War is such a good movie. The fact that Thanos is really the lead character and everyone else is kind of sidelined in this movie, but it doesn't feel like it. I think every character in this movie has about like 15, maybe 20 minutes of screen time. It's a lot more about Thanos and his quest, the scavenger hunt to get the Infinity Stones. And it truly is just a fantastic movie that the movie is... This is one of those movies that we can say is a movie about the villain. And by the end of this movie, the villain really has won. And I love that about this movie, because there's not enough movies in which the villains win. Heroes can't always win. Otherwise, there's just no stakes to it. And boy, is this an enjoyable movie. I remember going to see this in 2018 in IMAX. And this is, I believe, the first ever movie to be shot entirely with IMAX cameras. And God, is it beautiful to watch IMAX. Wow. Every action sequence, every moment of this movie is just so beautifully enhanced with that IMAX. And it is just a fantastic piece of cinema. It really is. So many arcs and things are brought into place with this, and done so with such little screen time. Like I said, I think each character is like 10-15 minutes of screen time in this movie. And even with that short amount of runtime, there's so much that is taken care of and explored and such like that. I mean, even the relationship between like Bucky and Cap, which is a whole 3 minutes maybe, where they're on screen together. But so much is done in those 3 minutes, and it's just so beautifully done. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I don't have much to say about this movie, except that it's freaking awesome. I have nothing negative to say about this movie. This movie is absolutely perfect in my eyes. It's a 10 out of 10 movie for me. Just wow. Just wow. Just seriously such a good time. And still enjoy it, watching it at home. Just everything that has gone through in this movie. I remember seeing this movie in theaters too, the ending where they get dusted. And that was something I knew about in the comics. And in the trailers, they talk about how Gamora talks about how he can get rid of half the universe by snapping his fingers. And we all just thought that was a reference to the comics, but they did it. They actually did it. And for Marvel to do that is insane. And where they went continuing forward with Endgame and such, which I did not watch that, even though that has Doctor Strange in it. I realized when watching Thor Ragnarok how little Doctor Strange is in Thor Ragnarok, and I realized his screen time in that movie is probably fairly close to what it is in Endgame. He's really not in that movie that much. So I did not watch Endgame, even though I love Endgame, and I totally wanted to watch it. I just didn't have the time this week. And I still had plenty of time to do a lot of watching this week. So, but yeah, I didn't quite watch Endgame this week, but Infinity War was one I needed to watch because Doctor Strange has such a pivotal role in this movie, and he does go through some character change in this movie. But truly, just an incredible movie. It is absolutely perfect in my book. 10 out of 10. Just an amazing action movie, an amazing superhero movie, just everything. It's so fantastic what the Russo brothers did with this movie. Absolutely freaking loved it. So let's go back to this, WandaVision. I also rewatched WandaVision just because seems like she has such a pivotal role in this new Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness. And, I wanted to rewatch it. I remember watching this back in January of 2021, and just from the first episode being so intrigued and so curious as to what was going on. And at the time, I had a friend named Iceman. We'll call him that. That's the nickname I gave him, I guess. And we both were just watching week to week. And after every week, we were just, what is going on? When we would discuss our theories of what might be going on. I knew a little bit more about the comics than Ice did. And so that made it a little more interesting because Ice had some very interesting theories that I went, no, that definitely is not it. But yeah, good theory. And it was just so much fun. I remember this movie just coming out, or show. It feels like a movie, but I remember the show coming out and just going, wow, this is fun. And it was fun to wake up on a Friday and just watch this show. And at the time I was working at an Anytime Fitness, and Friday was usually a slower day at the gym. So Ice and I would literally boot up the laptop and watch this show on our laptop and then go home and watch it again and try to pick up on the Easter eggs and all that fun stuff. It just truly fantastic. The first 3 episodes were just so intriguing, and you want to know what happened. And I love that the 4th episode kind of started showing us what was happening outside of Wanda and Vision. And then the 5th and 6th episode kind of went right back in it. 5th, 6th, 7th, I believe. And then 8th is really where we got some more explanation. And then this show is honestly perfect for me. Up until episode 9. This show is just absolutely perfect with how they explained things, how they showed things, how all the character arcs in this show, and then episode 9 came, and it was just, I remember back in 2021 when we got to the 8th episode, and I went, there's a lot that kind of needs to be explained and stuff. Quicksilver just kind of shows up in this one, Wanda's brother Pietro, but he looks different. He's the Quicksilver from X-Men. That kind of need to be explained. Monica Rambeau's daughter, Darcy's kind of in this show. Agnes, all the characters had big things going on that we kind of need some explanation for. And at the end of the day, we got some explanation. Wanda and Vision in particular got the most, which good. The show's called WandaVision. They should get some stuff. Monica Rambeau's daughter, we got some explanation of, and we will get more about it in the Marvels, I believe it's called. It comes out 2023 now. They just pushed it back. So we're going to get some explanation of that, but we didn't get quite as much, which that was fine by me, the way it ended. Agatha, we got quite a bit of explanation for, and boy did Catherine Hahn do fantastic in the show playing Agatha. Up until that last episode of my book, she went over the top and ridiculous with Agatha Harkness by the end when she went all evil, and that's a complaint of mine. Wu has a great character arc in this, just being an FBI agent, whatever guy, and he has a great arc. Darcy in this show was a particular character that, I just need to make sure this is still going. It is. Okay, Darcy is a character that I have some gripes about because she has such pivotal parts in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, 7. 4, 5, 6, 7, I think. 8, she's really not in it much, but nobody's in it. 8 is Wanda's episode. And then 9, she has one line, and she's just not in the show for the rest of the time, and that's it. And it just didn't... I heard that there should have been like another episode, that there should have been 10 episodes, and COVID kind of made things wonky for this one, and that's kind of why we got what we got, and that is truly unfortunate. I wish COVID hadn't been the thing that made the show the way it was. And at the end of the day, the last episode really just kind of did the Marvel thing, big superhero fights, and it just didn't quite live up to what the rest of the show was. It didn't. This show felt very original until that last episode, and I wish it just continued staying kind of original. I love the fact that we went through all these time periods of television. I love the fact... excuse me. I need more alcohol, that's what it is. Anyways, I love the fact that this show was essentially about grief. And I think one of the best lines in the show, and possibly one of the best lines in Marvel, period, is when Vision says something along the lines of, grief is love persevering. I absolutely love that line, and that's kind of summarizing the show. That this show is very much grief, and our love for people, and the perseverance it gives us, the motivation it gives us to do things. Sometimes not always good, like Wanda does in this show, but truly just an incredible show. I truly do love this show, and I loved it even more watching it again. I think when I first watched the show, I didn't love it quite as much as I did, but I still really enjoyed it. And I think part of the reason why I was disappointed about it from that first time, excuse me again, I'm sorry, was the fact that we were guessing everything every week. Every week was just mystery, mystery, mystery. I wonder what's going to happen. And it's funny that Marvel even knew that this was going to happen, because Wu is literally writing our questions on the whiteboard in episode 4. And I love that the show is kind of meta and is knowing. And I love that. I absolutely loved that. But at the end of the day, there was a lot of things that were just kind of there. A lot of the characters in the town of Westview, or I think it's Westview, the neighbors and stuff like that, they're just there. They were there to be mind controlled. And like Dottie, we thought maybe Dottie would have a bigger role and have some kind of something, but at the end of the day, no, she was just a person. And there was stuff like that. Just stuff like that. Deborah Jo Rupp's character, it's Deborah Jo Rupp. I would have thought she would have had more to do than what she did in just the first episode and kind of the last episode. And God, her scene where her husband's choking and she's laughing, she's going, "Stop it, stop it, stop it," is so fantastic. It's creepy. It's wonderful. It's just truly an incredible show. It's a weird, awesome, kooky, awesome show, and I just love the show. I love talking about this show. Anybody wants to talk about this show? I mean, I could literally spend an hour on each episode just breaking down every episode. And that's why I like this show. It's just there's so much to take in and grasp, and just everything about it was so good. There was also the villain. I forget the director's name even. He was such a Marvel villain that just is trying to make Vision a weapon. And yeah, we haven't seen that before. Anyways, great show all around. Really strong show, honestly. It's just the villains that bug me at the end of the day, but everything else leading up to that is such a fantastic thing. It's really just that last episode that gets me. So at the end of the day, the show's like a 9 out of 10 for me. It's absolutely fantastic. Elizabeth Olsen gives probably the best performance in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. She is so good in this show. How one episode she can be just, a woman in the 80s and then go so crazy and so evil almost. And just everything that happens in the show is so fantastic. I can't wait to see what they do with her character in Multiverse of Madness. Hopefully this week I get to see that. So, yeah, guys, WandaVision. I could go on and on and on, but we would get bored by it. So let's see. What else haven't we done here? Like I said, everything's out. Let's talk about Euphoria here. Euphoria is a show I had heard about, and I heard how dark it was, and I kind of just wanted to watch it because Zendaya was in it, and it was just something I was interested in checking out. This truly is a dark show. Zendaya's character is someone who is struggling with drug addiction. Hold on. The camera doesn't seem quite so straight. There we go. That's better. Sorry. The entire episode's been like that. Zendaya's character is a drug addict. She has another person in her high school that's an abusive asshole douchebag boyfriend. Everyone's cheating on their significant others in this show. There are men sleeping with children in this show. This is a dark, depressing, gross kind of show, but I gotta say, 8 episodes, I just watched them within like 2 days. Just dark and depressing, but I had to know what was going on, and I was talking about Full House and how every character you kind of feel for them, and you feel like you've had a part of them as yourself at some point in time, and that's this show too. I feel like every character I have felt the same way they have. I have experienced pain in the same way they have, and just truly a fantastically well-made show. The cinematography in this show is fantastic. The acting in the show is so great. The editing, the sound choices, the music choices, just lots of good stuff in this show. While it is dark and gross and there is some nasty shit in this show, it's an enjoyable show though. But not enjoyable in that sense. It's a show you can't stop watching. And I can't wait to start watching season 2. I know season 2 came out earlier this year, I believe. So I will be watching that second season, and I will be waiting for that third season, especially if the second season is as good as the first one. So, Euphoria. This first season, guys, it's like a 9 out of 10. There is some moments that just feel a little too dramatic. Like, there's no way all of this could just be happening in this one town. And yes, it takes place in California. There's definitely places like this, but there are just certain things that happen that I just don't buy. But you kind of go with it because it's art. You go with the show, you know? But it's another like 9 out of 10 for me. 8 or 9 out of 10 for me as far as this first season goes. So just a fantastic show. If you can handle dark shit, this is a show you could watch. So yeah, is there anything else now? I'm trying to think. I think we got it all, guys. I do not have posters for this week's stuff. I completely forgot about that. I did not get to see Memory this week. I was going to go to the movies yesterday, but instead I hung out with one of my best friends. We haven't seen each other in a very long time, so we hung out yesterday. My bunk bed bro, as I call him. So I got to hang out with him, which was really nice. Tonight, I think I'm going to go see Memory. This week is Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. I will hopefully go be seeing that on Thursday. I don't know if it's going to happen. It might be Monday, which is such a long time away, and I'm going to have to avoid the internet like crazy. But I guess it's easy to do when you work as much as I do. But anyways, guys, yeah, that's kind of the movies for this week. And, yeah. And it's been a good week. I got to watch a lot. This week will probably not be quite as much that I get to watch. We'll see. I'm crossing my fingers. But yeah, guys, have yourselves a good week. Get some sleep. I know I need to. Have yourself a beer now and then. We just talked about Euphoria. That's a show about addiction. Don't get addicted to things. Just as one of my other friends would say, in moderation. Everything in moderation. So have an enjoyable week, guys. Warmer weather is hopefully coming for Wisconsin. Summer movie season is starting this week with Doctor Strange. I'm excited for it. So I'll talk to you guys soon in about a week. And have a good week. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Or don't do everything I would do. And that's a Marvel Spider-Man Homecoming reference. Anyways, guys, have a good week. We'll see you next time. Bye.